¿Qué pasa to the pack? It is Pack here. In today's video, I'm covering NBA 2K's roster and their brand new update that, believe it or not, they actually updated player heights. Man, they almost never do this. This is a very, very rare occurrence. And some of these height changes are pretty massive, and they really do matter when you play 2K. If you play 2K, you know some players that should be taller end up getting taller. Makes a massive difference, or shorter. It makes a massive difference. I'm going to cover that in today's video. If you like that kind of content, please join the pack and subscribe. We talk about it every single day. Let's get it, man. Starting off with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, Giannis, as we know, is one of the greatest players in the NBA, maybe even the best. At 6'11", he was massive. At 7 foot, which he is now, with a +1 in his height, 7 foot tall as a power forward moving the way he does in 2K is not fair. See, KD isn't fair because he's 7 foot and he can do like dribble moves and jump shots. Giannis isn't fair because he's 7 foot. They can do dribble moves into postering everyone in the NBA. He is crazy. That is an awesome height for him to see in 2K. That's a W, one of the biggest changes. Jrue Holiday gets a +2 from a 6'3" to a 6'5". Now this is extremely important for Jrue Holiday because he's a defender. He's a perimeter defender. The fact that he's that fast, that strong, but also that tall now is going to be a huge advantage when you play with the Bucks online. This team got a whole lot better just by changing a couple heights. Super W. Let's continue with Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis goes +1 to 6'11". Again, Bobby Portis, 6'10", is pretty tall, but as a power forward, well, I guess they have him at center, but he's a power forward. As a power forward at 6'11", that can shoot, that's also not fair. And then finally, Brook Lopez, 7'1". In a game where all centers are usually around 6'10", 6'11", you have Brook Lopez at 7'1". No wonder he's one of the best shot blockers, one of the best defenders. While being able to shoot corner threes, it's not fair. The Bucks got a lot better just off this update alone. Super good update for the Bucks. For the Los Angeles Clippers, we have Norman Powell +1 in height to 6'4". I don't know if this changes much for him. I do think 6'3" shooting guards are pretty short in 2K. I think that's usually what you would expect a point guard to be. 6'4" now we're getting to the shooting guard category. And even though I still think it's a little short, I think for Norman Powell it's very good because he's still pretty shifty and he can still hit shots. I do think a +1 from 6'3" to 6'4" is actually a big difference, and I think you're going to notice it a lot if you use him. It's really important to get players to their actual height according to their positions. 6'4" is perfect for Norman Powell. Ooh, this one's pretty crazy. For Victor Oladipo, he goes 6'4" from 6'3" to 6'4". That's a +1. Another one. This is a small forward. They had Victor Oladipo, a shooting guard, at 6'3". That's ridiculous. He was obviously taller than 6'3" for a long time. So they have him at small forward. He's been a perennial shooting guard for most of his career. 6'4" is at least decent. That's an important one for him. Another crazy one is Gabe Vincent, who goes +1. They had him at 6'2", and listen, in my opinion, in 2K, if you're anything shorter than 6'3", you are a liability. At least in play now, when it's like a wreck and like really hard to deal with everyone, and like it's terrible. Gabe Vincent at 6'3" is clutch. It's +1 for him. It was absolutely necessary. I think it's a W because, again, I mean, I know point guards are short, and there's short point guards in the NBA, but in 2K, if you're shorter than 6'3", it's definitely a problem. A big one. The best player on the Utah Jazz, Lauri Markkanen, enters this 7-foot club to a +1 from 6'11" to 7 foot. He's an 85 overall small forward in 2K, which means he has an A midi, an A inside game, an A three-pointer, and his defense isn't absolutely atrocious at 7 foot tall. Now, he's not necessarily fast, but again, he's 7 foot small forward that can shoot like a guard. That is terrifying. Only KD is like that in this game. He's the only other player like that. That is a big deal for Lauri Markkanen, and no wonder the Jazz are doing so well. You also have Colin Sexton, who goes... I hate it here. You have Colin Sexton goes +1. He was at 6'1" apparently, up to 6'2". It's still pretty short, but still. The difference between 6 foot to 6'1" to 6'2" is massive. Then we have Jordan Clarkson, who actually goes -1 from 6'6" to 6'5". I did not know they had Jordan Clarkson that tall in the first place. I think it was pretty obvious he was around the 6'5" to 6'4" area. You know, sometimes I don't know where even they get this data. I guess they just take the players' words for it. But like, you know, NBA players lie about their height all the time, just like we do on our Tinder profiles. Jordan Clarkson is at 6'5", and I think that's the correct height because there was no way he was that tall at 6'6". Now, this was a big deal. At number 11, it is Domantas Sabonis with +2 from 6'11" to 7'1". Domantas Sabonis has always been a short center in 2K, and that's why I never liked him. At 7'1", being as tall as Brook Lopez, that's a massive deal. In fact, I didn't know Domantas Sabonis was that tall in the first place. I think that might be an over-exaggeration. Like, you know what I would do for 2 extra inches, bro? All right, Jalen Brunson, +1. That's a shocker to me because Jalen Brunson was always short. From 6'1" to 6'2", he's still short, but I did not know he was 6'2". I definitely thought he was 6'1". Still, that's a positive thing. As tall as you can make him is a lot better. The same thing goes with his teammate Emmanuel Quickly, who also goes +1 from 6'1" to 6'2". 2 players that are shifty, 2 players that are short and that need every inch possible in height to get any kind of advantage. This is a big W for both Knicks players, a Knicks team that's doing very, very good right now. Spencer Dinwiddie from 6'6" to 6'5", -1. He's a short king, apparently. You know, I guess that makes sense. I always thought of him as a 6'4", 6'5" kind of player, so I could see that. I just think it sucks for the Mavericks when, you know, they're already struggling, and now you just give them another struggle. Like, be fair to the Mavericks. Let's go to the Denver Nuggets with Jamal Murray, who goes +1. I cannot believe they had him at 6'3" in the first place. I swear, where are they getting this data? Just look at the players, and you can tell who's tall and who's short. Jamal Murray was not 6'3". 6'4" is the perfect height for him. I wouldn't have been surprised if he was 6'5". He's definitely a taller guard in the NBA, and being at 6'4" is a perfect height for you. And again, essential if you want to be successful in 2K. For the Pelicans, we have Jackson Hayes in the 7-foot club. Again, it is essential. You want your backup center, who's extremely athletic, by the way, to be 7 foot tall. That's actually really clutch. His ability to catch lobs is going to be even maximized more with that +1. Being at 7 foot is a huge advantage. Perfect for him. A pretty big downgrade for Fred VanVleet, -1. He becomes 6 foot tall. Man, VanVleet was already short, but now it's going to be really hard because he doesn't have long arms either in 2K. So it's going to make it really hard for you to score with him. He's going to be able to hit like open shots, and that's really it. Not a great one for Fred VanVleet. It's really going to hurt him, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. He's always been pretty short. Scotty Barnes goes +1. Again, with a player like him that's athletic, that can just drive and dunk, but also hit threes. Being as tall as possible is awesome. 6'8" is actually very good for Scotty. And kind of the exact same type of player, but reverse. Keldon Johnson, -1. Let me put it into perspective. Keldon Johnson, who's been playing power forward for most of the season, is the same height as Devin Vassell, who's shooting guard on this team. And Keldon Johnson is someone that attacks the rim a lot and has to go against big bodies. Yeah, he's strong, but he's very much like a Charles Barkley type of player where he's shorter, even though he's strong and big. Yeah, it's going to be hard to use him in 2K. I swear, players in the Spurs are always never fun in 2K. Like, I swear, Tim Duncan was not fun to use in 2K. Kawhi Leonard was not fun to use in 2K. And now I swear, Keldon Johnson's not going to be fun when he's that short. I swear. For the Timberwolves, we have Karl Anthony Towns, 7 foot tall. He's one of the best centers when healthy, statistically. And at 7 foot tall, he's going to be a problem to deal with in 2K. It's very essential that he's at 7 foot. It is perfect for him. A W by 2K. The same way I feel about Portland Trail Blazers Nurkic, who also goes +1 to 7 foot tall. Again, that's a massive upgrade to have for his center. That's as important and essential to this team. And he's been actually very good on defense. And even though his scoring has been hard, not great this year, it will be very good if you're 7 foot tall in 2K. It'll carry you really, really hard. I promise you. Josh Hart goes -1. You know, I'm not surprised. He always seemed short to me. I actually wouldn't have been surprised if he went down to 6'3", me personally. But still, 6'4". I mean, it's where he should be. I always thought it was a surprise that he was a small forward when he was so short. And this really solidifies that point because, like, he's really short, bro. For the Warriors, we have JaMychal Green all the way down here, who goes +1 to 6'9". Now, are you ever going to use him in 2K? Probably not. But at least I got this height right, and that's always a good thing. W by 2K. And the final one is Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford goes from 6'9" to 6'10". Daniel Gafford is a center. He is someone that can rebound pretty damn well. He's athletic. You're going to want players like that to be as tall as possible, kind of like Larry Nance kind of players. You want them to be good and athletic because if they're athletic, then at least you can drive and try to get some dunks and rebounds. That's all they can do, so you're going to need them to be as tall as possible. So, W. Now, those are all the height changes for NBA 2K23. Do you think 2K missed anybody? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys next time.